For 40 years I've been a landscape architect and planner, city designer, and it's been quite a career, a lot of fun, very interesting, met some incredible people. But as we've moved on and the business has kind of flattened out with this economy, it's given me a chance to do some of the other things I've really enjoyed, and that's to get back into some fine artwork as well as writing. And writing has become something that I've been enjoying more than I thought I would. And it's become exciting because you're able to create stories and tell stories. And it's your own story. Writers have always been telling their story, especially in fiction. And what I've been enjoying is to be able to create characters, create the ambiance, the setting for the story, and create the tension that creates the story from the beginning to the end. You know, it's always fun to have the beginning, and it's kind of challenging, and you throw something at the reader and hope they get excited in the first 20 or 30 pages. It'll let them hang in there until you get to the end of the book. And at the end of the book, you kind of complete it. But in that story is a trip. And that trip you're taking your reader on. And if they enjoy it, they'll read it to the end. If not, they'll find somebody else. And the craft that we have and that we continually learn is to keep that road open, to keep that travel and that traveler moving forward. Renaissance man, you mentioned that my friends call me a Renaissance man. Well, that's a little highfalutin for a Midwesterner. But it is something that I think is more a reflection of the interests that I have, which are incredible over all the years I've been. Since school, I've built boats, I've planned cities, I've painted, I've written, I've fished and hunted for big game. More fish. I've never hunted big game animals, mammals. But that Renaissance is more of an application, I think, and a recognition of an incredible number of interests. It doesn't mean you're accomplished. There's that jack of all trades, master of none, and I certainly take that as a compliment, because the experience that I bring back to the books and to the stories, I think, helps tremendously. Do characters evolve? They have to. We grow, humans change, we evolve, we deal with everyday situations, we get married, we have kids, we die. We're continually evolving and we're continually experiencing things. So your characters have to do the same thing. Now, it's hard to do that maybe in 200 or 300 pages, unless you're writing an opus or a history of the family or something. But if you're dealing with a period of time in a character's life, not like what Sam Spade in a couple of days in a Dashiell Hammett book. Not any different even now with Sharon O'Meara. She's dealing with 3 or 4 months during the late winter, and is she evolving? Of course she's evolving. She hates her job. She wants to move on to something else. She's ex-Army brat, or an ex-Army MP actually, and she needs to move forward, and the story keeps pushing her forward, and she keeps changing. The people around her change. So you have to evolve your characters. I think sometimes when a reader feels that the character, the main character they've gotten to like, it becomes too static, the books become stale and static. So the writer is continually having to push his characters forward, having them age, grow, mature. Some cases have families, some cases, it's just, I really feel you have to keep pushing your character, pushing them forward. Why are your books so short? I've been asked that question, and I'm trying to push this for the writers out there, is you don't have to write these 120, 150,000 word, 300,000 word magnum opuses that try to tell a story. The O'Meara Chronicles, as I'm calling them, are actually about 60, 70,000 words, which is about 200, 215 pages if you really spread the leading out. The idea here is that you can read in about 4 or 5 hours, and I'm calling them flyers, coining the term. I'm now copyrighted it, no one else can steal it. Flyers, where you can read, you're flying to Chicago, you read for 2 hours going and 2 hours back, and the book's done. So that's part of the fun of writing these, is it's forcing me to tell a shorter story, a quick story, sort of a long a novella, but that gives it far too much sophistication. So I think the idea behind the flyer is that you can read it in a few hours, you're done with it. We all start a book on vacation, never finish it because it's too damn long. Well, these books are kind of focused on that 4 or 5 hour flight.